are? Yes, that's what I am. And in between, he also showed his universal form. He told everything about it. But Arjuna was hardly believing in those words. Because after all, Krishna also looks like us. He's also just having a form like us and having 2 feet and 2 hands. And of course, for some people he used to be appearing with 4 hands. For Arjuna also he was appearing with 4 hands most often. But still, he looks like a 2-hand normal person, and he also just speaks, sees and he eats and drinks and moves, does with hands only, things like that, holding the chariot, the reins and just driving the things. All the things he does like an out man, and when he says, I am the boss of all these things, and then and Arjuna was not really believing in those things. Okay, because he's great anyway, I know that he's great, so let him speak to everything. After seeing the universal form of him, then he really believed 100%. So consolidated all the things that he explained till then, and he gave the 13th, the 14th and 15th chapters, and 16th and 17th and 18th chapters. And at the end, he kept everything before him. 1, 2, 3, 4. I gave you many yogas, right? I gave you karma yoga, I gave you jnana yoga, I gave you bhakti yoga, I gave you Purushottama Prapti yoga, I gave you the avatar rahasya, jnana, everything is like that before you, and whatever you feel like adopting, everything, is in front of you, whatever just you include, yes, you can take and you can do it. Yedechesi tadha guru. That is what he said in the 18th chapter, in the 64th sloka. But ultimately coming to that end, Krishna said, Yedechesi tadha guru. Whatever just you want, just you can do it. That actually hurt Arjuna a lot and said, me choosing and doing when I realize that you are everything and still you want me to choose something? That means you are giving some kind of independence on me. You are trying to impose something on me. You are trying to attribute some kind of, the individuality over me. Krishna, this is not really justifiable. I am so sorry. When I surrendered in total and accepted everything, still you want to test me. And Arjuna started crying. Arjuna cried 3 times, Of course, crying is not a new art. And it's, we born crying, and we grow crying, and we die crying, and we make others cry even after death. That's anyway there. But literally crying, and I'm talking about the literally crying, in the war field, he did 3 times, and that too publicly. Don't think otherwise. Publicly crying for ladies is accepted. For gents, it's not. It seems, I don't know. Because seems, the man is very, very strong with his heart and decisions. And so he should, even though it is overwhelming, then he should control. Water should fill in the eyes but should not fall on the ground. Asru purna akula ikshana. That's what we see with Arjuna in the first chapter. Asru purna akula ikshana. But water should not fall. But for ladies, filling up all the pots and buckets is okay. Or maybe reverse. when that is the case, Arjuna literally not just stopped filling the eyes with waters. That was the first thing. But it grew to such an extent he started literally, just shedding the tears at beginning. And then Krishna said, Asochya Anvasochastvam. In the second chapter, in the 11th sloka, he said, you are unnecessarily crying for things which are not to be, just taken that serious. There's the first socha. Sucha is a crying. Sochana means is crying. So because Arjuna was literally shedding tears, so Krishna said, Asochyananva sochastvam nanu sochanti pandita. You are unnecessarily crying, don't cry. And started, just explaining the things to him, and then Arjuna became a bit cool. Again, when the 16th chapter started, and when he was explaining about Daivasara Sampat Vibhaga Yoga, Daivi Sampat and Asuri Sampat, like that, and then he said, these are the Daivi Sampat qualities, but these are the Asuri Sampat qualities, like that he explained a few Asuri Sampat qualities, which are exactly in Arjuna. And when Arjuna, just listened to all those things, then he literally again started crying. Because you said Asri Sampata, these qualities, and I am possessing art. Because I know, I am able to gauge myself. And these are qualities in me totally filled up. And you say such people should be drowned. Kshipami, Ajasram, Asubhan, Asurishveva, I push them down to the worst of the hells. That's what is said. And those are the qualities in me. And because, Asav Maya Hatas Sitru Hanishyeja Paranapi, I so far killed these many people. I am targeting 1, 2, 3, 4. I killed them out. And this is what I earned so far. This is what I am going to earn. These are the words the people, the Asuric people use. And I am using all those words always. That means I fall in the category of Asuris. For them you said, you'll be just pushing them down. That means I am going to face that wrath. And then he started crying. And to console him again in the 16th chapter, Krishna Ma Suchaha Sampadam Devi Avijato Si Pandava Ma Suchaha Sampadam Devim Abhijatosi in 16th chapter. Don't cry, don't cry. Okay, those are the words you used initially, but why I am with you? Why I am with you? Because you are one with the Daimi qualities. That's why I am just lying with you. That's why I am just, holding your cloth and just, I am after you. Ma Suchaha Sampadam Daivim Abhijatosi. And so I am not going to leave you, okay? Don't worry much. Then he assured. After that assurance, then Arjuna became a bit cool, down. Again he pulled up his courage. And then started, okay, that's fine. Then the discussion went on and on. But again, coming to the 18th chapter of the 64th, Krishna said, so far, whatever is to be spoken, Guhyat Guhyataram Maya. Till now, I gave Guhyat Guhyataram. And I kept everything before you. Yedhe Chesi Tadhatu. And whatever you feel like doing, yes, you can do it. That's it. And Arjuna didn't think it is good. Because in spite of my surrenderance and coming this down, yes, I am an arrogant guy initially, but I agree with you. But now I gave up everything. And then you said, Guhyat Gushyataram. That means still Guhyatamam is reserved. You didn't reveal that. And then you say, whatever just you feel like doing, just you can choose and just keep doing. That means you are putting the independence on me only, which I didn't want. Why should I surrender to you then if I am able to just take my own decision? Then Arjuna started crying. And then Krishna said, okay, Sarva Guhyatamam. Now I am going to Sarva Guhyatamam. Whatever the best of all, that's what I am going to reveal now. Then he started Sarva Dharma. And at the end he said, Mokshayishyami Ma Suja. Again the Sucham is there. No? That's why 3 times that word he used. That means 3 times he literally cried. So Ma Suja, you need not cry at all. There's no need at all for crying. Antva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. I just take care of everything. But for which? These are the conditions. What are the conditions? He said, Charanam Saranam Pravajye in the Dvaya Mantra. Right? Surrender to the lotus feet of God. And in Dvaya Mantra you said, I surrender to the lotus feet of God. But how to surrender? Was not explained there. Isn't it? So, to explain as how to surrender, and while doing that also there should not be any doubt, no question of leaving any trace for doubt. That should not be there, right? What we call the samsaya. And then we should not do wrong things also at the same time. It's called vipariyya. Now samsaya, vipariyya. These are the 2 things often disturb us while surrendering. So to eliminate that ignorance of how to do, and also to clarify all the doubts whichever that will be in between, to remove those things, Krishna revealed the essence of the whole Bhagavad Gita. Rather we can say the essence of his life mission. In fact, when you take the whole Bhagavad Gita, all the 18 chapters are just like the coconut shell. Whatever is given is just like the coconut shell. But the real core and the sweet water is the Charama Slokam only. To give this, he made such a strong protection. Very, very strong protection. After listening to those things only he was able to receive and he was able to come to this sloka. That means you can understand that how valuable it is. The Charama Slokam. And until you cross all those 3 things, you just can't reach. When we were young, we used to hear, the Mayal Pakiru Pranam ekkaduntundi. Ekkaduntundi? Ekkada chilakala? Mee kuda tirigi chilakala. After crossing all the 7 seas, and again in a big building, and in which there is a big cave, and that there is a big room, in which there is a big cage. In that cage there is a parrot, and in that parrot his life is preserved. That means it is such a precious thing, and you have to just cross through so many things, and there will be hurdles at every step, and you may just fall from anywhere. A serpent bite will be there, and ultimately you lose. Such a critical thing, such a difficult thing, such a valuable thing is the Charama Sloka. So which kept in between the 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. So this is called the essence of Gita Upanishad. Bhagavad Gita is considered as Upanishad. Understand? Brahma Vidyasu Upanishadsu. That's how we chant the Pushpika at the end of every chapter. In the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, what we write, what we read, it is called Pushpika. Pushpika. So in that Pushpika, how do you say? Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu. It is Upanishad. That means you just can't, go to the mall and just pick it up and just pay off and just come back. No, it can't be taken like that. You need something strong, decision, confirmation. Then only you can take. And it was so core like that, it was strong. And this Bhagavad Gita again, where is the Bhagavad Gita? In Mahabharata, which is considered as Panchama Veda. You may find few things in Veda and you may not be able to find things in Veda. But whatever the consolidated essence of all the Vedas is well presented in the form of Mahabharata. So it is considered as Panchama Veda. So Bhagavad Gita itself is the essence of Mahabharata and the Vedas. That essence is this Charama Sloka. You can understand that the magnanimity of that there. Understand? And then this is the elaboration of Dvaya Mantra then. And what it says, why this is now, when you are coming to the Charama Sloka, means you must have already finished Dvaya Mantra. And to finish Dvaya Mantra, you should have finished Astakshari before. So probably you must be having more experience with regard to the Dvaya Astakshari and Dvaya Mantra, got all the arthas in your heart, well preserved, and able to retrieve anything just whenever it is required. And then only you will be able to just enter the Charama Sloka. Otherwise, right away coming to the Charama Sloka and sitting, do you think that you understand the things? Very difficult. When you are sitting in a postgraduate class, I think probably you must have done your regular school. And then you must have done the college. Finishing the school and getting everything from that, and finishing the college and everything from that. And then only you can go to the postgrad school. And then only you can understand the terminology when it is used, to understand anything. And otherwise everything is, just Greek and Latin to you. So it is expected, that all of you must have finished the Astakshari. And you must have done the Dvaya Mantram as well. And you must have understood everything from there. And because when I say the Purvavakya, and then you ask, what is the Purvavakya? And when I say the Uttaravakyam, you may ask, what is the Uttaravakyam? But if you would have done the Dvaya Mantram, then you can understand what is the Purvavakyam and what is the Uttaravakyam. Because there are two sentences in Dvaya Mantra. What are the two sentences? One is surrenderance to the lotus feet of Lord. Charanam Saranam Prapachya. And the second one is Narayanaya Namaha. That is, pleading for enhancing the content, the service you are doing, the kainkariam that you are doing, without any pollution, without any obstacles, without any disturbances, right? And the first one is called Purvavakya, and the second one is called Uttaravakyam. That is in Dvaya Mantra. Both put together, that becomes a Dvaya Mantra. So in that, in the Purva Vakya of the Dvaya Mantra, it is said, Charanam Saranam Prapatye. I am surrendering to the feet of Lord. But how? How do you surrender to the lotus feet of Lord? It's not explained there. There's no description about how to surrender to the feet of God there. And it is not actually directly given by God himself, it's by Vedas, it was given. And as if you are saying that, Saranam, Saranam, Prapadye, I surrender. That's how, as if you are speaking. As you think something good and you decide something to do and somebody says something good, if the person himself whom you are approaching instructs you to do so, I think it's pretty easy, right? But is it available in Dvaya Mantra? At least is it available in Ashtakshari? In Ashtakshari, approaching the feet is also not there. Because there it is said Namaha only. And then when you hear the word Namaha, and you are a bit confused, because you have to surrender. Or just you may be doing just Namaskara. Maybe just doing Namaskara, maybe it's surrender. Both are there. But how to do Namaskara is also not there. Where to do Namaskara also is not there. Because Namaskara is in many ways, right? Namaskara, you may say like this, Namaskara, you may say like this, Namaskara. And you may do Namaskara, and you may do Namaskara. Namaskara has many ways to do, because it's only just showing respect to others. That's all Namaskara, what we call. And you may do in many ways that. And sometimes you may say, but also just you may sigh. Of course, you may, and sometimes you may say, hi, how are you? As Sugriva did with Rama. This monkey's attitude is that. Bahuresha prasarita, he said, come on, I stretch my hand, if you like it, come on, just you can hold it. What Rama can do now? Just he wanted Sugriva to be the great person. So when he said, come on, Bahuresha prasarita, and that's okay. Then he also took and shook that. But Rama's intention is not just to shake the hands. He never expected Sugriva to do that. That's why, of course, he taught it later. Sending him to Vali first time. And then, doing Mardana. And then he understood what is to be done. And then he returned and did it, of course. But that's the latter course. So, people take liberty in doing the Namaskara in their own fashion, in their own ways. How to do the Namaskara? How to surrender? So, if you come to Dvaya Mantra, and because the Dvaya Mantra is a bit elaboration of Ashtakshari Mantra, and there it says, Charanam Saranam Pravacche. Don't take the hand and shake with the Lord. You may do with your friends, that's okay. But go to God and say, hey God, how are you? Don't do that. Or, some people may say, don't catch the head and say, hey, how are you? That's not good. Charanam Saranam Pravacche. Surrender at the feet, hold the feet and then do it. So, in that way, Dvaya Mantram is becoming an elaboration of Ashtakshari, teaching us the way to surrender, at least where to surrender. But while surrendering, what to do and then surrender. There is something to be done and then surrender. Look, I told to 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? I kept a word with all those people. But because you are also a great person, I surrendered to you now. But even otherwise, I already spoke with 4 people to do my work, okay? So I'm also telling you, just do it for me. Somebody comes to you and asks like that, are you going to do that work? You know, he said, already I spoke with 4 people and all they have accepted also to do that. But anyway, because you are a great person, so I am coming to you and I am surrendering to you also because you are good. No? But even otherwise those people are ready to do that. Let's do it for me. Do you think it happens ever? So, while surrendering, you know, how to surrender? Just, you know, giving up everything and then surrender? Or keeping some reservations and surrender? That's not described when it is the Dvaya mantra. Only Sriman Narayan Charanam Saranam Bhagavate. Okay. You know, take the mother's grace and then surrender. Finish. What about the previous attachments? They were not at all described. They were not at all dealt with. But is it a rule? Or is it just what you call an optional? Optional means it's anushangitam. It's a rule means it's a vidhi. Is it a vidhi or anushangitam? That's not explained there in Dvaya mantra. You know. And if you want to give away, how to give away? If you want to just give up other things and then surrender, how to give up? Is it just physically giving up? Or mentally giving up? Or the result giving up? What is called as a vastutaha tyaga? Giving up is tyaga. Right? Tyaga means just you have to give up everything and then come and surrender. Is it vastutaha tyaga means you have to just totally give the object itself? But fruit, give up the fruit, give up the result of the activity means you do the activity but don't expect the result. That is one thing. Is it giving up the bhava tyaga? Do and get the fruit also, but you are not intellectually you are not attached to that. Or emotionally you are not attached to that. Is it what is said? What kind of tyaga? That's not described there in Dvaya mantra. So what a kind of tyaga? What is called tyaga means giving up. Right? What a kind of tyaga that you have to do. This was discussed in 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Tyago hi purusha vyagra trividha samprakirtitaha. The tyagam is in 3 ways. That is what Krishna described, you know, in the beginning of, which is not really required there to be discussed, as a matter of fact. Because in the 17th chapter, he discussed about the Shraddha-traya Vibhaga Yoga. And Sattvika Shraddha, Rajasa Shraddha, Tamasic Shraddha. And then in the 18th chapter, all of a sudden, he started talking about the Tyaga. Just suddenly he picked it up and started discussing about, you know. Some people say Tyagam is something different, Sannyasam is something different. But to me, Sannyasam and Tyagam are both are different. And what kind of Tyagam one has to do? And before knowing that, you need to know how many types of Tyagam is there. So then he said, Tyago hi purushavyagra trividha samprakirtita. 3 types of Tyagam is basically done by people. And some people just give away the object. Just for your information, I'll tell you, food. Is it the food you have to give up? Or is it the taste you have to give up? Or is it the ruchi you have to give up? And this, you have to know. If you give up the food, you will die. You can't give up the food, you should not. Because the moment you born in the body, you are supposed to eat the food. Eating food is recommended. So that's not prohibited. And then the fruit of the food. Is it the attachment with the food, the taste? And when if something is given without taste, you just can't eat it anyway. Just simply, something brought from the market, some rice and stuff kept before and just eat it because you need food, all that you need food. eat it. I say, can you eat it? No. And then you have to eat the food cooked and added some kind of this taste and that taste. And then what you have to give up then is that it's not the taste you can't eat. It's not the food you can't survive. And what you have to give up then? Don't think that it is for me and eating. No, that's what we do, right? No, it's for the sake of the one who is inside God. I'm just kidding. And then you can just give up the attachment with that. And then you have to do it. Doing is not prohibited. But while doing, what a kind of the feel that you have, the attachment you have behind, that is something to be given up. That's what he said. And in the 18th chapter he described in detail about the whole thing. Some people think, vastu tyagam is tyaga. I just give the whole thing and then I can survive. Don't think, Arjuna, you cannot survive like that. You cannot. Because the nature you live in is such a forceful one, and just you try to sit and then something comes from it and it forces you, and then you jump in and again do it. If you don't eat for about 10 days or so, what happens then? The moment you see the food and just you jump in and you eat anything that moves. Even a small insect you see that you catch it and just you start eating. Survival becomes a question then. So that's not the thing that what I'm recommending you to know. That's how he described. Is it vastu tyaga, or is it bhava tyaga, or is it phala tyaga? Is it karma tyaga, bhava tyaga, phala tyaga? What is to be given up is well described, discussed in the beginning part of the 18th chapter. And while giving up, what a kind of thing that you have to, is it that you have to give the angas or you have to give the angi? Angas and angis, there are two things. While doing one karma, you have some auxiliary activities also for each of the main karmas. Right? Eating the food, if it is the main karma, and how do you eat the food? First you wash the mouth, wash the hands, wash the feet, wash the plate, wash the glass, wash the surface, keep the surface clean, bring the glass with water, and clean the hands and mouth and feet, stuff like that, and then you eat, keep on eating. But before that, you need to have something prepared, right? Then only you can eat. You washed everything and sat down very clearly, but nothing is cooked. How can you get away from you eat? You keep something ready there. So for eating, cooking is also one auxiliary, what is called anga. When eating becomes the angi, it has many types of angas with it. Washing the hands, mouth, glass, plate, stuff is one kind of anga. Keeping the preparations ready, like cooking the food and cooking the sambar, cooking the curries and cooking the dishes and keeping the yogurt and stuff ready. This is one kind of anga. That is also one anga karma we call it. Eating is angi. That is the anga. Main and auxiliary. So you need to have some auxiliary activities as well to be done. And whether those activities to be done or not. And while giving up, you have to give the main karma, or you have to give the auxiliary karmas also. That also you need to know. And because just tyagam doesn't mean just, I gave up. There are many other details to be, known very well. So, while doing that, whether it becomes a sadhana, and sadhana for buddhi will be there on them. That means you may not think that the karma is the main thing, Initially you think, I do this, I get the result. Doing something is called karma. Karma anushthanam. And you do the karma anushthanam, you get the result. And while doing the karma, you do some auxiliary activities to fulfill this karma. See, when you want a dosa to be prepared, and you need to keep the pan and the furnace and again a spoon ready in hand. And they are called auxiliary karmas there. Just and then reversing it and just these are auxiliary karmas. And before that, preparing the flour and water and mixed up, that is another auxiliary karma. And before that, making the wheat powder, you have to take the wheat and you see that it is powder, or at least you go to the mall and purchase the powder, that is another auxiliary karma. Before that, going from home to the mall is another auxiliary karma. And before that, keeping the money in the pocket is another auxiliary karma. And before that, earning that and keeping that in the car is also another auxiliary karma. How many auxiliaries are there to make one karma full? Understand? And what karma you have to give up? And where you have to give up? If you give the main karma, and can you give all the auxiliaries? And you may think, yes, auxiliaries fulfill the main karma, and the main karma gives you the fruit. You give the main karma. What about the auxiliaries? Auxiliaries are needed to make the karma as a full one, right? So you can think, yes, they fulfill this fulfills me. That's also you think. Do you think that the auxiliaries are the ones who fulfill the main karma? This is what I said, right, so far, right? Because if you prepare the flour, if you prepare the pan, and if you prepare other stuff, then only they become the full. Then the auxiliaries add something to the main karma. That is also becomes a sadhana. Because they become sadhana to make the karma full. Is it right or wrong? Is it right or wrong? Seems right. Seems right. And you may think then they are the duties what at least you have to do to make the karma full. You have to do even they also. But while doing them, you should not think that they help the main karma to form the full. They also should be given up. Like I do, they become full. And they become responsible for the main karma to become full. At what level you have to give it up? These are not at all discussed anywhere. Either in the Sakshari or in Dvaya Mantra. So you need to know that. That is discussed in Charama Slokam. And because of which, this becoming the elaboration of the surrenderance, which is said in Dvaya Mantra, and which was actually recommended by the Ashtakshari in the word Namaha as Upaya. That is called Upaya. Do you know the words Upaya and Upeya? Do you remember them? Because they were well discussed in the Ashtakshari and Dvaya Mantra. Upaya is the means. Upeya is the fruit. These words come always here and there. Upaya means a means, a source, a way, an instrumental thing for the main thing to happen. That's called Upaya. And Upeya is the fruit. What is achieved by adopting Upaya becomes Upeya. And the thought of yours on something as Upaya is called Upayatva Buddhi. Upayatva Buddhi we call. Upayatva Buddhi means thinking that that is Upaya. Thinking that that is Anga. That is called Angatva Buddhi. And a thought, thinking that it is something. How to say that? If it is Anga, Angatva buddhi. If you think that it is upaya, the knowledge is called upayatva buddhi. And if you think that is the fruit, that is upeya, that means upeyatva buddhi. That will be here. That will be here. Whether you know it or not, or whether you say it or not, it is a buddhi which thinks, yes, I think that this is the upaya. If a thought crosses somewhere in the mind, that means you have that upayatva buddhi in you. Understand? You call it it's a pustaka. That means you have some kind of buddhi in your mind. What is the buddhi you have? Pustakatva buddhi. It's not pustaka buddhi. Pustakatva buddhi. That's how you have to say that. Because when you realize that this as pustaka, that means that you understood that this is pustaka initially, isn't it? You recognize this as a pustaka, right? But you say it is pustaka, and what you say is watch a ghatikara. How do you say this? Ghatikara, ghatika yantra. Okay. Why you say this ghatikara and why you say this is pustaka? Why don't you say that this is ghatikara? Because your eyes caught hold of this object with its quality, with its own quality. What is quality in this? Pustakatvam. What is the quality it possesses? Pustakatvam. So while your eye catching this object, caught up with the quality also. So this is pustaka, having pustakatvam in it. So you call it pustaka. So when you say this ghatikaraha, so your eyes understood that this is having ghatikaratvam with it. So this became ghatikaraha. And so ghatikaratva buddhi, pustakatva buddhi. And this is sabda yantra. This is called dhvani yantra. And when you say this is dhvani yantra, that means your mind already understood this dhvani yantra, tvam is there. And you say it is manushya. That means your eye already know that this object is having manushya tvam with it. You take any object. This is chair. So the chair tvam is understood by you. We call it a tattvam. That means which makes it to be called with that particular name is called tattvam. You take any object in the sense. If you take this light, so your eyes caught that object with its quality, with its very essential quality called tattvam. This is light tvam, meghatvam. That is window tvam, or there is wall tvam, or there is board tvam, and there is roof tvam, is carpet tvam. Otherwise, why you call it the carpet? Why you call it the curtain? Why you call it the roof? There is no other reason, isn't it? Because there is roof tvam, because it's carpet tvam. And because the Karkan Tvam is there with that. Tvam is the very essential quality and makes it to be called like that. Any object across the world you can take that and you can say that. Tvam is the essential quality. And if that is removed, the name also goes. You call it the truth, but when it's removed from there and kept somewhere, you won't call it the truth. You call it the carpet now. But when you rolled it and kept somewhere, you won't call it carpet. You call it a roll. Because there is a roll from there. Maybe the object is the same. See, if you call it is a paper, you call it simply a paper, but when something is printed in that, you call this is a bill. $1 bill is a bill. After all, there is also a paper. But why you made it a bill now? Because there is bill tvam in there. So you call it a bill. Now it's only just there is a paper tvam in this. And before it became a paper, there is only pulp tvam there. And before it turned to the pulp, there is only the bamboo tvam in it. You know bamboo tvam? Yes. That's how you call the bamboo. So what I mean to say, you call something with a particular name because tvam is there behind. Your eye catches that object with tvam. Then only you give a name to that. Pasu, because your eye caught hold of an object with pasu. So you call it a pasu. You call it as a man. You call it a vehicle. You call it as water. You call it as mud. You call it a stone. No matter what name you give to something, it's because your perception understood, probably caught hold of tattvam, so you named it like that. That's what we need to understand. So, when you say something is upaya, that means your perception understood that there is upaya tvam in it. So your knowledge is now upaya tva buddhi. So, you said, this is sadhana, I have to do it. I mean, this becomes the means. Sadhana is the means, of course, anyway, to get something, to attain something. You do the sadhana. And sadhana tvam is in that particular activity. No, that's sadhana tvam. You go to the gym, and then just when you do the practice, that's a sadhana. So, in that practice, there is sadhana. But that is for the, just for building up your muscles. And to build up your knowledge also you do some sadhana. And there is sadhana tvam in that. That means that becomes a sadhana for you to achieve something. The sadhana tvam remains in that. And even to spiritual attainment also the same thing. You surrender. So your surrenderance, what you call surrenderance, is called Saranagata. You did Saranagati. So Saranagati Tava Buddhi is there in you. That becomes the sadhana for you there. So you think that when I did the sadhana, then I got God with me. So what do you think? This is the thing, this is the means to achieve God. That's how we think, right? Do you think really you do something and you got the God is possible with anything in the world? But Krishna said, it's not possible. Naham vedehi, na tapasa, na danena, na checheya, sikya. I am unreachable with anything in this world. with anything in this world. So when you say, I surrendered, so God blessed me, then what does it mean? Surrenderance becomes a means. Then surrenderance has the power to get the grace of God. Isn't it? But do your surrenderance has the power, as a matter of fact? Then you think, I surrendered, so He blessed me. So His blessing becomes secondary. I surrendered. I did it. So I am able to get His grace by surrenderance. Even your thought is also related to grace. That also should be given up. That also should be given up. So these are the things which were not discussed earlier in the Dvaya Mantra or in the Ashtakshari. He did not discuss any of these things. So we understood them before because we know the commentaries. But verbally, it's not spoken anywhere. But he is making those things very clear in this Charama Slokam. So, Charama Slokam is very clear. Whatever he said in the Purva Vakyam, that is Charano Saranam Prabhajya Vakyam, whether he is going to remove all our sins or not, that's not very clear. Only Dvaya Mantra, what he said is, I surrender to his lotus feet. That's all what we said. But there are so many hurdles for us now to surrender, right? Are we really able to surrender to God 100%? No. Why? Because there are so many hurdles. And is He going to remove those hurdles? Or should we remove all those hurdles and surrender? What is to be done? He should do that. But is